Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the greatest boxer tournament in Title Bout II. It's been a busy Thanksgiving weekend on the channel. The winners group in the Fate of the Elder Gods tournament for Christmas in Arkham is all set, and we'll see them tomorrow. Closing the closet door, by the way. Before we get to the winners group, however, we have one more bout to do in the greatest boxer tournament in Title Bout II in Berlin this month. We have the semifinals we have to get to. Sounds like a moving truck is moving in case you're wondering what the beeping was. Here's a look at our current brackets. Rocky Balboa is waiting for the winner of this bout in the finals after recovering from his broken hand that he suffered against Ken Norton in the quarterfinals. But we need to get him an opponent, so let's go meet our fighters. The John Cena action figure for this bout will be representing Rocky Marciano, the Brockton blockbuster. He's a 9 and a slugger, takes control on a 9 against a boxer or an 11 against a slugger, aggressiveness and killer instinct both of 10, 140 endurance, foul rating C, defense rating 4, KD 1 and 2 of 1 and 2, knockout 0, cut 5 and counterpunch 2. Turns out I've been doing counterpunching wrong all along. So the range actually starts from the counterpunch range on the boxer card, and then you add the counterpunch rating to their punches landed range. So if Marciano were to get a counterpunch, he would be a 1 to 32 on punches landed, but his counterpunch range would start at 36. So I have been doing that all wrong. But that's a look at Marciano's card. Now let's go meet his opponent. We're not quite ready to meet Marciano's opponent yet because we still need a cornerman for the bout. So we'll give this a shuffle. I'm going to need to get one of the decks over here, probably the second deck. We'll give that a cut. Let me go grab that deck. So it's over here already. Okay, cool. So our first possible cornerman for Marciano is Nazim Richardson. Very good on cuts and swelling. Boxer rate of all, and he's available on a 1 to 70. So we'll get a random number here and see. On an 11 that he is very much available for Marciano. So now that he is all set, now let's go meet Marciano's opponent. The Roman Reigns action figure today will be representing Lennox Lewis, the Lion. Rating of 9 and either. Takes control on a 10 against either a boxer or a slugger. 8 aggressiveness, so by virtue of his 10 aggression, Marciano will be our aggressor to start the bout. Killer instinct of 9. Endurance of 90. Foul rating B. Defense 2. KD 1 and 2 of 1 and 1. Knockout of 2. Cut 3. Counterpunch 5. Takes control, well, 9 is his power range. Marciano's is 11, so Marciano will probably need his power. But we need to get Lewis a cornerman as well. So I'll actually just take the first one off the top and try for that one. So for Lennox Lewis's first attempt at a cornerman is Manny Samon. Boxer rate 10 and up, so Lewis can't take him. Next up, Chuck Bodak, who is excellent on cuts and swelling, but he's only available on a 1 to 35. So let's see if he's available for Lewis. That's a 34, so but he is available for Lewis. So Chuck Bodak will be Lennox Lewis's cornerman today. We'll start moving everything over to the ring, and then we'll join the fighters over there. We're just about ready to go, but the last thing we need is a referee. We need somebody to call this craziness. So we'll give this a shuffle. Trying not to jar the camera. And a cut, and here will be our first attempt at getting us a referee for this bout. Referee of choice is Robert Bird. Boxer rate of a 7, so not available for today, because we've got 2 9s. Next attempt is Marty Denkin. Boxer rate 6 also won't work. Next up, Richard Steele. Boxer rate of a 9, so that works for us. Available on a 1 to 40. So let's go to the other deck and see what we find here. 45 means he's not available. Fourth try for a referee. Steve Smoger. Boxer rate of a 9, also available on a 1 to 40. 42 also says he's not available. Wow. Nobody wants to referee this bout, apparently. Next up, George Seiler, also can't take him. Next up, Julio Alvarado, boxer rate of a 5. That won't work. Good grief. We better not start going through half the deck trying to find a referee. There's Terry O'Connor. We also can't take him. Boxer rate of a 5. Next up, Frank Cappuccino. Boxer rate of an 8. We can't take him. Good grief. Randy Newman. Boxer rate of a 7. That's how many referees have we gone through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. This will be our 10th try at a referee. I'm hoping this won't be the longest part of the bout because we've had some doozies. We've had some really good bouts in this tournament. Our 10th attempt at a referee. Jay Nady. Also can't take him. I'll move this light a little bit closer. That looks good. Let me see if I can bring the tripod back out of shot. There we go. Ay, ay, ay. Why can we not find a referee today? Joe Cortez, no good. Paul Thomas, also no good. Roy Francis, still no good. Let me see what... maybe I'm misunderstanding what the referee cards... what the boxer rate on the referee cards is for. I wish it explained it in the rule book. But of course it doesn't explain that in here. Right. That's what I'm assuming it's for anyway. Next attempt at a referee. Art Mercante Jr. Also can't take him. Next up. Arthur Mercante Sr. Normal on fouls and stoppage. With a typo, of course. Available on a 1 to 50. Come on, we need a referee today. So we go to a random number. And a 40 says he finally is available. So we'll make some notes on off camera. I'll bring the referee card over here. He's a normal referee. Checks disqualifications on 4th point deduction. Okay, so now that we've got that figured out, the rest of the referee cards can move back to their baggie in the box. We're going to have a referee all handpicked ready to go for the finals. Just FYI, and I already know who it is, but I'm not going to announce it just yet. Just know that I do have a referee all set up for this one, for the finals. But I think we'll give the second deck a quick shuffle, just to make sure everything is as fresh as can be. We'll get that cut, and we're all set to go. So we're going to sound the bell here to start round 1, and Marciano will be our aggressor. As Lewis can take on either style, he's going to box to start round 1, and there's the bell. Marciano's our aggressor, so he will start us off. With no control, Lewis on his first control check. Won't take it. Marciano, who needs a 9 against Lewis as a boxer. Marciano will take control. His first action check will be a foul. Marciano's a C against... And which number do we check? Because I've always checked the random number up at the top, not the results, checking for a foul. Because that would be an automatic point taken away. But I've been watching Jester's videos, and he's been checking the result. So we're going to see if I can find this out real quick. And admittedly, this rule book is not the best in the world, determining if a foul's been committed. Page 31. We're checking after making an adjustment to the RN. So it looks like an RN, looks like it wants the random number. So our referee is normal, which means we're looking at an 80 if I'm understanding this correctly. Yes, we are. So it looks like we obtain an RN number, which means he's an 80, which on the foul table, we already have a foul coming up. So Marciano against an 80 is losing a point for using the shoulders. That's Marciano's first foul. Just making notes off camera. He needs to watch that already, because he might be getting disqualified. Hopefully he won't start having quick fouls, but Marciano back to the control check. We'll keep it. 21 is going to land a punch. Marciano will get on the board. 52 with a 3-point combination. That'll bring Marciano up to 3 points. I've also been doing the fouls wrong, or the scoring wrong for the fouls. Marciano will come back with no control. Lewis will take control. 51, he will clinch. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 72 is ring movement, so we are going to be moving. Staying at ring center. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano takes it. 52, he's going to clinch. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. 11 is going to land a power shot. Lewis is a 1 against a 10. 10 to a 1 will be 5 points to Marciano. So Marciano going up to 8 points on the round. Got Lewis's attention. Marciano loses control. Lewis, no control. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. Forgot to mention we are in Berlin for this semifinal bout. Lewis, the 60 is going for ring movement, so we're moving to the near corner. So that'll give Lewis a +2, I believe it is, on control checks. Let me just check that out. Some of this I might be doing a little bit wrong, so if I'm doing anything wrong, feel free to point it out respectfully, of course, in the comments below. Where are you, ring movement? Might be control checks. Page 7. Losing control, no. Might be under ring movement. Here we go. Okay, pinned in the... Oh, it's based on the style of the fighter. So, since to the control fighter, if the fighter pinned against the ropes is a slugger. Okay, so Lewis is actually +2 on his control checks. That I was doing wrong. So a 12 will work for Lewis to take control, which a 7 would do naturally. 32 is going to land a punch of his own. Lewis will get on the board with a 1 point partially blocked. Not a good shot for Lewis, but at least it gets him on the board. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 59 is going to be another clinch. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. Foul of his own. Lewis is a B against a 75. Wow, we're getting fouls right off the bat here. So Lewis, a B against a 75, is losing a point for hitting behind the head. Wow. They're both getting fouls today. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 61 is going to be ring movement, so we're moving. Come on, focus. Back to ring center, so Lewis giving up his advantage. Back to being a 10 to gain control, which that is not. Marciano takes control. 70 is ring movement for Marciano, so now we'll be moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis takes control. 77 is ring movement, so we're going to be moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano takes control. 33 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch. Last card of the round for Marciano. Actually, 33. Lewis's defense is... Actually, that's going to be enough to land a punch with Lewis's defense. So the last card of the round will be a 38. Good for a 3-point cross, which will bring Marciano up to 11 points. There's the bell for the end of round 1. So 11 points for Marciano to 1 for Lewis. That'll be a 79 to 139 on a 10-point differential. High score would win the round 10-9, except they each lost a point. So Marciano is going to win the round 9-8 on all 3 cards, accounting for the fouls that both fighters picked up. So I'll get the decks reshuffled, and then we'll be ready to start round 2, where Oh, I forgot to draw for referee consistency. We'll pretend that was a consistent round. We'll get the decks shuffled for round 2, and when we come back, Marciano will once again be our aggressor. Lewis is going to box once more. We'll get the score dials reset. Back to zeros all around. Referee check, he's a 1 to 75, so random number says 32. We're going to have another clean bout. No mistakes will be made, and there's the bell. Marciano will start round 2 off with control. 19 is going to land a punch. Marciano will get on the board right away. 19 with a 3-point hook, so that'll bring Marciano up to 3 points right away. Back to Marciano we go, who loses control. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. 42 misses a punch. Lewis can try to counter punch. So he will get this will be a 1 to 37 to land a punch. 71 won't do it, though. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. 78 is ring movement, so we'll be moving to the far ropes. Marciano will be a +1 to his control checks because Lewis is a boxer. Back to Marciano, who needs a 10 or less, which a 13 is not. Lewis takes control. 1 is going to land a power shot of his own, Marciano is a 1 against a 4. That should be 4 points, I believe. Yep, 4 points to Lewis. That definitely got Marciano's attention. Back to Lewis, who stays in control thanks to the plus... Actually, no, he doesn't have a +1. 25, he's going to land another punch, though. Lewis will land. 9 will be good for a 2-point jab. So that'll bring Lewis up to 6 points on the round. Back to Lewis we go, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. 31 is going to land a punch because of Lewis's defense. Marciano will land. 8 will be good for a 2-point jab. So Marciano closing to within 1 on the round. Up to 5 points. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis takes control. 16 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 33 will be good for a 2-point hook. So Lewis up to 8 points. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 24 is going to land another punch. He will land. 54 will be good for a 3-point combination. So that'll bring Lewis up to 11 points. And now he's beginning to tee off a little bit. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 76 is ring movement, which will bring us right back to ring center. Back to Lewis. Loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. No control for Marciano. Back to Lewis, who does take control. 20 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 48 will be good for a 2-point cross. Lewis up to 13 points. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 12 is going to land another punch. Misses power shot range, but Lewis will land. 31 will be good for a 2-point hook. So Lewis up to 15 points. Halfway home if he can start landing a few punches with a little bit of round left. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 38 will miss a punch. Marciano can try to counterpunch. 53 won't do it, though. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 10 just misses power shot range. Lewis will finish the round with a 1-point partially blocked, and that's the end of round 2. 5 points for Marciano to 11 for 16 for Lewis. I can't do math today. 17, 16. 16, 123, 574. At an 11-point differential, high score wins at 10-9. So Lewis will take the round 10-9. And because of the fouls that both fighters picked up in round 1, the fight's actually even on all 3 cards. So I'll get the decks reshuffled up, and then Lewis will be our aggressor to start round 3. Lewis will box to start round 3, checking for our referee. 26 says we're going to have another clean round with no mistakes. There's the bell. Lewis is our aggressor to start round 3. He will start us off with control. 39 is going to miss a punch. Marciano can try to counterpunch. So he needs a 1 to 32 to land the punch. Foul won't work. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 51 is going to be a clinch. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 65 is going to be ring movement, so we're moving to the left neutral corner, which will give Lewis a +2 to his check to take control on Marciano. So he needs a 12 or less, which a 6 is. 61 is going to be ring movement, so we're moving to the near ropes this time. Lewis is just kind of dancing Marciano around the ring right now. Lewis stays in control because of the +2. 41 is going to miss a punch. Marciano can try to counterpunch, which he will do with a power shot with an 11. Lewis is a 1 against a 1. That will be 4 points unless I missed my guess. Yep. 4 points to Marciano on the power shot. Very nicely done there by Marciano. So back to Marciano for the control check. He'll stay in control. 32 will land a punch because of Lewis's defense. Marciano will land. 47 will be good for a 2-point cross. So Marciano already up to 6 points. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis, no control. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. With another foul, oh boy. Lewis is a B against a 66. That should be a warning, I think. B of 66, yep, warns Lewis for hitting for a low blow. See, warning for low blow. That is Lewis's first warning. Back to Lewis we go, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis stays in control. 22 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 73 will be good for a 3-point uppercut, which will get Lewis on the board. It's cut Marciano's lead in half in the round. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 59 is going to be a clinch. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano takes it. Lands another power shot. Lewis is still a 1 against a 2. That should be another 4-pointer. Yep. Another 4 points to Marciano, which will bring him up to 10 points. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis takes control. 35 is going to miss a punch, no counterpunch. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis takes control. 17 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 10 will be good for a 2-point jab. Lewis trying to eat into this margin a little bit. That'll be up to 5 points for Lewis. Back to Lewis we go. He'll stay in control. Foul. Lewis is once again a B against a 29. That should get waved off. Yep, no foul. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis takes control. 10 just misses power shot, but Lewis will land. 63 will be good for a 2-point combination. That'll bring Lewis up to 7 points. And it sure looks like we'll be asking the judges about this one, because this is the last card of the round. Lewis would keep control, but that's the end of round 3. We'll move them both back to ring center so I don't forget. 10 points for Marciano, 7 for Lewis. 64 for Lewis. 7 will be 116. We need to ask the judges how they're scoring this one, though. They're scoring it high, high, low. So they're giving the round to Marciano. That'll be 10, 10, 9. 9, 9, 10. Okay, I will get the decks shuffled up, and then Marciano will once again be our aggressor to start round 4. Lewis will continue to box into round 4. Our referee check. 75, that could be a problem. Favors named fighter. Fails to call a foul on the fighter with the high rating. Ignore the first foul that would be called on the named fighter, warning him instead. Ignore this if the fighters both have the same rating, and they do. So essentially it's going to mean another no mistakes round. There's the bell to start round 4. So Marciano will start us off with no control. Lewis takes control. 49 is going to clinch. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Back to Lewis. No control. Marciano. No control. Lewis. No control. Berlin's getting restless. Marciano takes control. 4 is going to land a power shot. Lewis is a 1 against a 16. That's going to hurt. 16, 1. 5 points to Marciano, and we go straight to the control check for Marciano, or the action check. So 5 points for Marciano, who gets the next action check. We go straight there. 56 will be a clinch. Marciano loses control. Lewis takes it. 16 is going to land a punch of his own. Lewis will land. 36 will be good for a 3-point cross. Not quite as good as that big haymaker that Marciano just landed, but still pretty good. At least to get him on the board. Lewis will come back with no control. Marciano. No control. Lewis. No control. Marciano takes control. 53 is going to clinch. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 18 is going to land a punch. Marciano will land. 31 will be good for a 3-point cross. So that'll bring Marciano up to 8 points. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis takes it. Special, okay. Special card here. Bell ending round is rung early, ending all action, but we have way more than 5 cards in hand and left in the round. So on we go. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 12 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 20 will be good for a 3-point hook. So Lewis continuing to eat into the margin for Marciano during the round. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano takes it. 45 is going to be a missed punch. Lewis can try to counterpunch. but he won't do it. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 27 will land a punch. Marciano will land. 33 will be good for a 3-point cross. That'll bring Marciano up to 11 points. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis can't take it. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. 40 is going to miss a punch. Marciano can try to counterpunch. He'll land a power shot in doing so. Lewis a 1 against a 17. That could hurt. 17-1. Will leave 5 points to Marciano, and he gets Killer Instinct. So that will bring Marciano up to 16 points. And Marciano gets his full Killer Instinct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, first up for Marciano on Killer Instinct is going to be a foul, but I don't check those during Killer Instinct. Next up, 26 is going to land a punch. He will land. 2 will be good for a 3-point jab, which will bring Marciano up to 19 points. Next up for Marciano, 30 is going to land another punch. He will land. 1 point partially blocked, which will bring Marciano up to 20 points. Next card for Marciano, 50 is going to be a missed punch. Lewis can try to counterpunch, which a 38 won't do. Next up for Marciano, 22 will be another landed punch. Marciano will land. 63 will be good for a 2-point combination, which will bring him up to 22 points. And last card of the round for Marciano's Killer Instinct is going to be 51 as a clinch. There's the bell. Marciano took control of that round. 22-6 for Lewis. 48 total and 30. 6 from 116 is 110. 22 is 42. Lewis is getting run out of endurance quickly by a 16-point differential. We have to check to see how they're scoring it. The judges are scoring it high, even, which means Marciano will take the round on cards for judges 1 and 2, 10-8. Judge 3 is scoring it 10-9, Marciano. We'll get the decks reshuffled for round 5, and once more Marciano will continue to be our aggressor. Berlin has had some great boxing action to sink its teeth into this month. We got to see what the referee is doing for the round. Lewis is going to continue to box, of course. Our referee check says 42. We're going to have another clean round. With that, Marciano will start off round 5 with no control. Lewis doesn't take control. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. 32 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 15 will be good for a 2-point jab, so Lewis getting on the board first this round. Cornermen haven't had much to do this round because we haven't had any cuts. Lewis coming back out with no control. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. 17 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 30 will be good for a 2-point hook. Lewis up to 4 points on the round. Only 1 Killer Instinct, surprisingly. Back to Lewis. No control, Marciano. No control, Lewis. No control, Marciano. No control, Lewis. Takes control. 33 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. Landing a power shot. Marciano is a 1 against a 12. 12-1 will be 5 points to Lewis. Lewis managed to get Marciano's attention with that one. Up to 9 points. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis takes control back. 37 is going to miss a punch. Marciano can try to counter punch. 77 won't do it though. Lewis stays in control. 48 will clinch. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis takes control back. 11 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 30 cut. 30 is good for a 2-point hook, which will bring Lewis up to 11 points. Then we've got to make a cut check. Marciano is a 5+, a random number. 62, 67. That should be some fairly significant damage. Just making some notes here. 67 on the cut table will be major cut under the right eye. So he'll be +1 cut rating now, which means he'll be a 6 on the cut rating, and that's worth 3 cut points. Fortunately, Marciano's cornerman is very good against cuts. Let's see but we're back to Lewis on the actual bout though, who stays in control. 15 is going to land another punch. Lewis will land. 21 will be good for a 3-point hook. That'll bring Lewis up to 14 points. Marciano has yet to get in this round. Back to Lewis we go, who stays in control. 29 will land a punch. Lewis will land. 70 will be good for a 3-point uppercut. Lewis is completely in control of this round. 17 points for Lewis. Back to Lewis we go. No control. Marciano takes control. He needs to get this carnage stopped now. 57 is going to be a clinch. Maybe he'll stall it out. Marciano. Now with a result like that, no control. Lewis. No control. Marciano takes control. 11 is going to land a power shot. He needed this. Lewis is a 1 against a 5. I believe that'll be 4 points to Marciano. Yep, 4 points to Marciano, which will get him on the board late in the 5th round. Back to Marciano, who loses control actually. Lewis takes control. 70 is going to be ring movement. We're moving to the far ropes, but it won't matter because we're looking at the last card of the round. I'll just do it by the book though. Lewis's last control check would give him control, but that's the end of round 5. Marciano just got teed off on there, and we were possibly watching for a 2-round TKO for Marciano. 17 for Lewis. So that'll be 52, 38, 47. And if I can do first grade math, that would be 93 endurance left for Marciano. By a 13-point differential, high score wins 10-9. So Lewis will take the round 10-9. Looks like we have a pretty tight round going, folks. So we'll move that over to Lewis. I'll get everything reset, and then round 6 we'll see Lewis being the aggressor. Lewis will continue to box in round 6, and our referee check says 11 should be no problems. Yep, no problems with the round. With that set, there's the bell, and Lewis will start us off in round 6 with control. Into a landed punch, Lewis will get on the board right away. With a 51 cut, I will actually, before we do that, let's pretend we did that. So Marciano's corner is going to try to work on that major cut under the right eye. His cornerman is very good, so we'll consult the chart. That'll be a 13. Cornerman will get a good reduction on the cut, so -2 cut points. I didn't have knocking the light into the bell in mind. I must have managed to just get a hold of the cord just right from the looks of it. Adjusting that. Okay, so we're down to 1 cut point from that major cut under the right eye, but Marciano will be taking another cut right away. So we'll start preparing a note here. Marciano's a 6 this time, plus 20, 26, that should be no cut. Yep, no cut. Right. But that was a 51 cut. That was a 2-point cross that Lewis landed. 2 points there. Sorry, I still had the pen in my hand, and you got a face full of pen. Lewis will continue the round with no control. Marciano with his first look at action this round. Can't take it. Lewis can't take control. Marciano takes control. $12 just misses power shot, but Marciano will land a punch. He will land. 56 will be good for a 3-point combination. Marciano getting a jab hook jab in there, and he'll take the lead on the round. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. Landing a power shot this time. Lennox Lewis is a 1 against a 5. That should be 4 points to... Yep, 4 points to Marciano. I'm going to adjust that light. That's kind of bothering me a little bit. Up to 7 points. Let me see what I can do with that light. Okay, I think we had it something like that. Okay. Back to Marciano we go, who loses control. Lewis takes it. 76 is ring movement. We're moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. Foul. Uh-oh. Lewis is a B against a 27. That'll get waved off. I'm not going to bother looking at the table for that one. This is still driving me a little bit nuts. Let me see if I can tighten that just a bit. See if I can... There we go. I think we got it now. Okay. I think we got that all straight. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 34 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 50 is going to be a clinch. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 40 is going to miss a punch. Marciano can try to counter punch. 74 won't work for him, though. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 25 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. A 5 is good for a 3-point jab. Lewis pulling to within 2 on the round. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano. No control. Lewis. No control. Marciano. No control. Lewis. Takes control. Lands a power shot of his own. Marciano's a 1 against a 1. That'll be 4 points. Lewis manages to get Marciano's attention with that one and not much beyond that. That'll bring Lewis up to 9 points on the round. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. Landing another power shot. 1 against a 5, that's probably another 4 points. Yep, that's another 4 points to Lewis, bringing him up to 13 points. Lewis's power appears to be coming out to play in this round a little bit. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. Landing a power shot of his own. He needed that. Lewis is a 1 against a 5. That should be 4 points. Yep, 4 points to Marciano. Getting a lot of power shots this round. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 71 is ring movement, so we are moving to the far corner. Marciano will be a +1 on his control checks because he's got a boxer trapped up against the corner. So over to Marciano, who needs a 10, which a 2 would do anyway. Landing another power shot. Lewis is still a 1 against a 16. That one might hurt. 5 points to Marciano, and we go straight to the control check. We're getting a lot of bombs thrown this round. So Marciano going straight to the action check. Foul. Marciano's a C against a 30. That'll get waved off. Yep, that'll get waved off. Last card of the round for Marciano. Would keep him in control, but that's the end of the round. What a round. 16 for Marciano to 13 for Lewis. Total 68 and 60. Very even fight so far. 80, 22 for endurance remaining. By a 3-point differential, we've got to check to see how the judges are scoring it. They're scoring it. High. They're all giving it to Marciano. 10-9 on all 3 cards. Which will bring Marciano back over to being the aggressor, heading in to round 7. Lennox Lewis is going to continue to box, and our referee check says 30 will be another clean round. With that, Marciano will sound the bell to start round 7, and Marciano will start us off with control. 65 is going to be ring movement, so we are moving to the near corner. Marciano setting up to be a +1, not being knocked down. Marciano setting up to be a +1 on control check, so he needs a 10 or less to take control, which he'll get with an 8 anyway. 12 is going to just miss a power shot, but he will land a punch. He will land. 62 will be good for a 2-point combination. Little jab hook action in there to start the round. Coming back to Marciano. who stays in control. 44 will be a missed punch. Lewis can try to counterpunch. He needs a 37 to land a punch, which a 46 will not do. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis takes control. Foul. Lewis is a B against a 52. That'll probably be... Yep, keep it above the waist, guys. Back to Lewis. Stays in control. 59 is going to be a clinch. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis takes control. 39 is going to miss a punch. Marciano can try to counterpunch. 48 won't work, though. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 60 is going to be ring movements, so we're automatically going back to ring center. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. Landing a power shot. Marciano now is on the defensive with a power shot. 1 against a 4. That'll be a 4-point power shot. Yep. 4 points to Lewis. Coming back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano takes it. 77 is ring movement, so we're moving to the left neutral corner. Marciano back to being a +1 on control checks. That won't work for him, though. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. 68 will be ring movement, so we're moving right back to ring center. I'll adjust that leg slightly. There we go. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 75 is ring movement. Marciano dancing us around the ring a little bit. Now, right now, we're staying at ring center. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 11 lands a power shot. Lewis is a 1 against a 7. That should be another 4-pointer. Yep, 4 points to Marciano. Back to Marciano we go, who stays in control. 72 is more ring movement. Marciano continuing the dance. The dance will continue in the right neutral corner. Marciano back to being a +1 on his control checks, which will work there. 17 misses Killer Instinct, but lands another punch. He will land. 52 will be a 3-point combination. Jab straight uppercut this time. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 32 will land a punch. Marciano will land. 64 will be good for a 3-point uppercut, or 3-point uppercut. Up to 12. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis can't take it. Marciano with the last card of the round. Wouldn't take control, but that's the end of round 7. 12 points for Marciano to 4 for Lewis. 80, 64, 76 for Marciano to 10 for Lewis. By an 8-point differential, Marciano takes the round 10-9 on all cards. We'll get the decks shuffled up again. And then Marciano will once again be our aggressor to start round 8. Lewis is quickly running out of endurance for this bout, but he will continue to box. And our referee check says 55, no problems with this round. With that, there's the bell, and Marciano will start round 8 with no control. Lewis takes control, landing a power shot to start the round. Marciano's a 1 against a 6. That'll probably be a 4-pointer. Yep, 4 points to Lewis. But Lewis getting on the board early with some much needed points. He is very much behind in this bout. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis takes control. Foul. Lewis is a B against a 53. That'll probably be a warning to keep it above the waist. Back to both fighters. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 11 misses power shot, but he will land another punch. He will land. 19 will be good for a 3-point hook. So Lewis up to 7 points already in the round. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 50 is going to be a clinch. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. 56 is going to be a clinch. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 73 is ring movement, so we are moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Lewis. No control. Marciano. No control. Lewis takes control. 67 is ring movement, so Lewis is going to be moving us. Nowhere, staying at ring center. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano, no control. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. 74 is ring movement. Marciano is moving us. Also nowhere, keeping us at ring center. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 34 will miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 45 misses a punch. Lewis can try to counter punch. Foul won't do it, though. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 49 is going to be another missed punch. Lewis can try to counter punch, which he'll land a power shot in doing. Marciano a 1 against a 6. That should be another 4 points. Yep, that's another 4 points to Lewis. So that'll bring Lewis up to 11 points and give Lewis the next control check. So over to Lewis we go, who loses control. Marciano, no control. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. 40 is going to be a missed punch. Lewis can once again try to counter punch. Let's see if this works for him as well as the last one did. Landing a punch, not quite as well, but Lewis will land. 48 will be good for a 2-point cross. So Lewis up to 13 points. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano, takes control. 38 is going to miss a punch. Lewis can once again try to counterpunch. And this will be the last card of the round, presumably. 71 won't do it. That round was all Lennox Lewis. No points for Marciano whatsoever. To 13 for Lewis. Lewis needed that badly. Because he is almost out of endurance. That'll be 63. 13-point differential. High score wins 10-9. So Lewis also needed that round to try to catch up to Marciano. So that'll bring us into round 9, and Lewis will be our aggressor this time. Lewis will continue to box. He'll be our aggressor, and referee check says, no problems this round. There's the bell. Lewis will start round 9, I believe this is, right? Yes, round 9 off. With no control. Marciano takes control. 52 will be a clinch. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 69 will be ring movement. Marciano will be moving us to the right neutral corner. So Marciano will now be a +1 on control checks. Over to Marciano, who needs a 10 now, which a 5 will give him control anyway. 65 will be more ring movement, so we'll be moving. Right back to ring center. Apparently Marciano's allergic to the extra control advantage. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis takes control. 22 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 44 will be good for a 2-point cross. So Lewis on the board first in round 9 with 2 points. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano takes control. Marciano will land a punch of his own. Marciano will get on the board. 1 point partially blocked. So literally just on the board. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 60 will be a clinch. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 77 is ring movement. We're moving. Staying at ring center. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. Landing a power shot. Lewis is a 1 against a 17. This one might hurt. 17-1. 5 points for Marciano, and he gets his killer instinct. So Marciano with the potential to do some real damage here. Killer instinct is 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. First up for Marciano. 37 will be a missed punch. Lewis can try to counterpunch, which a 23 will do, so Lewis will land. 18 will be good for a 3-point hook, but it has to be at least 5 points to end Marciano's killer instinct, which that is not. So we're coming back to Marciano's killer instinct. 12 just misses power shot, so Marciano will land. 73 is good for a 2-point uppercut, so that'll bring Marciano up to 8 points. This would be a disastrous killer instinct for Marciano. 39 will be another missed punch. Lewis can once again try to counterpunch, which a 29 will do. Lewis will land. 35 will be a 3-point cross. Looks like Lewis is doing more with Marciano's killer instinct than Marciano is. That's not a good sign for Marciano. Should be up to 8 points. Round is even at 8 all. Next up for Marciano. 41 will be a clinch. Actually, will be a missed punch. Lewis can try to counter punch. 62 won't do it, though. So Lewis doing more with Marciano's killer instinct. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis can't take control. Marciano, no control. Lewis, no control. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. Lands a power shot of his own. Marciano's also a 1 against. A 4, that should be another 4 points. Yep. 4 points to Lewis, which will bring him up to 12 points on the round. Battery croaked on me as I was getting ready to go to Lewis's next control check. So Lewis will be up with no control. Marciano takes control. 35 will be missing a punch. Just out of counterpunch range for Lewis, though. Marciano, no control. Lewis, no control. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. 21 is going to land a punch, and Lewis will land. 30 cut. 30 will be a 2-point hook, which will bring Lewis up to 14 points. Then Marciano with a possible cut, which he'll be a 6+ random number from this card. 38 is 44, which I believe should be a minor cut, right? Yes, minor cut under the right eye. So this is round 9 we're looking at. Let me just double check that math. 38, 44. Minor cut under right eye, which will be another +1 cut. And that will be good for 1 cut point, but that's the end of round 9. 14 points for Lewis to 8 for Marciano. 91. Lewis beginning to at least get back into it a little bit. All right, that's a 14, so 49. By a 6-point differential, we have to check. Let's see how the judges are scoring this one. They're scoring it low even, so they're actually giving the round to Marciano. That's not a welcome turn of events for Lennox Lewis at all. With that, I'll get the decks reset, and then Marciano will once again be our aggressor to start round 10. Heading into round 10, Lewis will continue to box. Marciano will be our aggressor, and referee check says, no problems this round. There's the bell, and Marciano will start round 10. He'll start us off with no control. Lewis, no control. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. 40 will be a missed punch. Marciano can try to counter punch, which he'll do. Marciano will land. 53 will be good for a 3-point combination. Jab, 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 straight this time. So 3 points for Marciano. Over to Marciano we go, who will stay in control. 45 will be a counter punch, a missed punch. Lewis can now try to counter punch, which a 12 will do. Lewis will land. 1 point partially blocked. That'll get Lewis on the board. Lewis will stay in control. 20 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 26 will be good for a 2-point hook, which means the round is all knotted up at 3 apiece. Back to Lewis. who loses control, Marciano. Can't take control, Lewis. No control, Marciano. Takes control. 19 will land a punch, Marciano will land. 5 will be good for a 2-point jab. Marciano taking the lead on the round, 5-3. Back to Marciano, who loses control, Lewis. No control, Marciano. No control, Lewis. No control, Marciano. Takes control. 78 is ring movement, so we'll be moving. Nowhere, staying at ring center. Back to Marciano, who takes control. 31 is going to land a punch because of Lewis's defense. Marciano will land. 22 will be good for a 2-point hook. So Marciano up to 7 points. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 71 is ring movement. Marciano will be moving us. Nowhere, staying at ring center. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis. No control. Marciano. Takes control. 18 will land a punch. Marciano will land. 65 will be good for a 3-point uppercut. Marciano up to 10 points. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis. Can't take it. Marciano takes control. 50 will be a missed punch. Lewis can try to counter punch. He needs to. Foul won't do it, though. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 53 will be a clinch. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 63 will be a clinch. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 43 misses a punch. Lewis can try to counter punch. Which a 4 will be a power shot. Marciano's a 1 against. A 4 right at the buzzer. Lewis scores with a 4-point power shot. He needed that desperately. Which will bring Lewis up to 7 points. And that's the end of the round. 10 points for Marciano to 7 for Lewis. Lewis is definitely fatigued. Now we need to see how the judges are scoring it with a 3-point differential. The judges are scoring it even high, so they're giving the round to Marciano. Which means Marciano will once again be our aggressor going into round 11, where we'll meet a fatigued Lennox Lewis coming before we jump into the round. I forgot to work on that minor cut under the right eye for Marciano, but we won't worry about that now. Marciano will be our aggressor, though. Lewis will continue to box, but before we start anything else, we need to meet a fatigued Lennox Lewis. So we've got the fatigued section of the card here. Not much change, but one number to note is that Lewis now needs a 9 to take control against Marciano. He also loses 2 cards from his Killer Instinct. Otherwise, no changes. So everything else stays the same. Referee check says 71 might be a problem with the bout this time. Yeah, looks like with a 1 to 75, we're using very lenient as the referee's rating this round. So There's the bell, and Marciano will start round 11 off with no control. Lewis, now with a newly lowered control factor, won't take control. Marciano, no control. Lewis, no control. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. 65 will be ring movement, so we're moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 48 will miss. Actually, that'll be a clinch. Back to Lewis. Stays in control. 75 is ring movement. We're moving. Nowhere, staying at ring center. Back to Lewis. No control. Marciano takes control. 66 will be ring movement of his own. Marciano will be leading us. Staying at ring center. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis can't take it. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. 17 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 17 will be good for a 3-point hook. So Lewis up to 3 points, but we're almost halfway, about halfway through the round already. Back over to Lewis, who stays in control. 23 is going to land a punch. Lewis will land. 68 will be good for a 3-point uppercut. 6 points for Lewis. He needs to wake up here pretty quick. Back over to Lewis, who stays in control. 15 is going to land another punch. Lewis will land. 70 will be good for a 3-point uppercut. 3-point uppercut. Up to 9 points. Back over to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis can't take control. Marciano takes control. Lands a power shot. Lewis is still a 1 against a 6. That'll probably be 4 points. Yep, 6 points or 4 points to Marciano, which will put him on the board with a much needed power shot. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. Just missing another power shot, but he'll land a punch. Marciano will land. 24 will be good for a 2-point hook. 6 points. Over to Marciano, who stays in control. 80 is ring movement. Marciano's leading us. To the far ropes this time. We're actually having ring movement. Marciano now needs a 10 to take control against Lewis, which a 16 is not. Lewis, no control. Marciano, no control. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. 32 is going to land a punch. Marciano will land. 1 point partially blocked. He's continuing to eat into the deficit. Marciano will lose control. Lewis takes it. 61 would be ring movement, but they're both moving back to ring center because that's the end of round 11. 7 points for Marciano to 9 for Lewis. Still a very even fight. Lewis is still very much fatigued. 9 is 33. With a 2-point differential, let's see what the judges have to say. The judges are scoring this one low, even, high, so a dead even round. Which means at the start of round 12, which we're going to be heading into after I get the decks reshuffled, Marciano will remain our aggressor. Because of the draw in round 11, Marciano will continue to be our aggressor. Referee check says, all clear for the round. With that, there's the bell and we'll start round 12. Marciano will start us off with no control. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. Lands a power shot to start the round. Lewis is still a 1 against a 12. That might hurt. 12, 1, nope. Just 5 points to Marciano, but still. Lewis cannot be taking a lot of punishment here. I don't think we're in danger of any 2 or 3 round TKOs. We are not. Back to Marciano we go, though. Who loses control. Lewis takes it. 53 is going to clinch. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano takes control. 20 is going to land a punch. Marciano will land. 1 will be good for a 3-point jab. Marciano getting up to 8 points already early in the round. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis takes control. 16 will land a punch. Lewis will get on the board. 53 with a 3-point combination. Lewis now getting the jab, jab, hook going on. Back over to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano can't take it. Lewis takes control. 76 is ring movement. Lewis will be leading us to the far corner. Lewis is now a +2 to his control checks, which means he needs an 11 to take control, which the 6 will do anyway. He'll land a power shot of his own. Marciano's still a 1 against a 17. That one might hurt. 17-1. 5 points to Lewis, and he gets his full killer instinct, which, since he's fatigued, will only be 7 cards, but that'll bring us right back to ring center. This is Lewis's killer instinct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wunderbar. Lewis's first card is going to be ring movement, so we are moving to the near ropes. Next up, 24 is going to land a punch. He will land. 39 will be good for a 3-point cross, which will bring Lewis up to 11 points. Continuing on, we find 56 is going to be a clinch. Then 38 misses a punch. Marciano can try to counterpunch. And he'll land a power shot of his own in doing so. Lewis a 1 against a 1. That'll be 4 points, I'm sure. Yep, 4 points. But Marciano actually doing a little bit of damage during Lewis's killer instinct as well. Back to Lewis we go, though, who needs a 10 now to take control, which that is not. Marciano can't take control. Lewis No control, Marciano. No control, Lewis. Takes control. 71 is ring movement, so we are moving. Back to ring center. Back to Lewis, who stays in control. 11 is going to land another punch. Lewis will land. 77 will be good for a 2-point uppercut. So Lewis up to 13 points in what's turning into a very even round. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano takes control. Foul. Marciano's a C against a 25. That'll get waved off. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis. No control. Marciano. No control. Lewis. Takes control. Foul. Now Lewis is fouling out. A B against an 18. That'll get waved off. Last card of the round. Would see Lewis lose control, but there's the bell to signify the end of round 12. 12 points for Marciano, 13 for Lewis. 120. And 117. With a 1-point differential, we need to see how the judges are scoring this one. They're scoring it. High, high, high. Lewis actually catching a break on that one. I'll get the decks shuffled up, and then we'll come into round 13, where Lewis will actually be our aggressor. Lewis will be our aggressor to start the round. Referee check says all clear. With that, there's the bell. Let's start round 13. Lewis will start us off with control. Ring movement. Lewis will be moving us to ring center. Back to Lewis. Staying in control. 51 will be a clinch. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano loses control. Lewis. No control. Marciano takes control. Over to Marciano for the action. 23, he'll land a punch. Marciano will land. 62 will be a 2-point combination. Little jab cross. Back to Marciano. Loses control. Lewis. No control. Marciano takes control. Foul. Marciano's a C against a foul, so we don't go any further. Back to Marciano. Loses control. Lewis takes control. 41 is a missed punch. Marciano can try to counter punch. Which is, he'll miss a power shot, but that's enough for a punch. Marciano will land. 25, a 2-point hook. So that'll bring Marciano up to 4 points on the round. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 75 is ring movement. Marciano will be moving us. Staying at ring center. Over to Marciano. We'll lose control. Lewis takes control. Lewis. 52 is going to clinch. Back to Lewis. No control. Marciano can't take control. Lewis. No control. Marciano. No control. Lewis. Takes control. Back to Lewis for the action check. 70 is ring movement. Lewis will be leading us to the far ropes. Back to Lewis. No control. Marciano. No control. Lewis. No control. Marciano. No control. Lewis. Takes control. Lewis. Will land a punch, missing a power shot, but Lewis will land. 37 will be good for a 3-point cross. Lewis getting on the board with 3 points. Back to Lewis. No control. Marciano. No control. Lewis. Takes control. Landing a power shot. Marciano is a 1 against a 6. That should be 4 points. Yep, 4 points to Lewis. Back to Lewis. No control. Marciano. No control. Lewis. No control. Marciano will take control. Landing a punch. Marciano will land. 27 will be good for a 2-point hook, but there's the bell, and that will end round 13. 6 points for Marciano, 7 for Lewis. 123. By a 1-point differential, we need to check to see how the judges are scoring it. The judges are scoring this one low, high, high, so they're giving it to Lewis. So that will be 10, 9, 9, 9, 10, 10. All right, I will get everything reset. The decks, I'll get the decks shuffled as well. Then we'll start round 14 with Lewis as our aggressor. Lewis will continue to box around 14. Referee check says 59, all clear. So with that, there's the bell, and Lewis will start round 14 off with no control. Marciano takes control. 53 is going to be a clinch. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 12 just misses a power shot, but he'll land a punch. He will land. 53 will be good for a 3-point combination. Jab, jab, body jab this time for Marciano. Back to Marciano we go, who loses control. Lewis. No control. Marciano takes control. 43 is going to miss a punch. Lewis can try to counter punch, which a punch will do. 19 will be good for a 3-point hook. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano. No control. Lewis. No control. Marciano takes control. Marciano will have ring movement, so we'll be moving to the far corner, which means Marciano is now +1 to gain control checks. Marciano will take control, landing a power shot. Lewis is a 1 against a 5. That should be 4 points. Yep, 4 points to Marciano. Back to Marciano, who stays in control because of the +1 on the control check. 14 lands another punch. Marciano will land. 77 is good for a 2-point uppercut. So that'll bring him up to 9 points. Back to Marciano. Stays in control. 20 is going to land another punch. Marciano will land. 1 point partially blocked. So that'll bring Marciano up to 10 points. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. 73 ring movement, so we are moving. Back to ring center. Back to Marciano. Stays in control. Lands a power shot. Lewis is a 1 against a 14. 14-1 is 5 points to Marciano. $15 points. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis, no control. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. Yeah, takes control. 49 is going to be a clinch. Back to Lewis, who loses control. Marciano, no control. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. 30 lands a punch. Marciano will land. 80, the 2-point uppercut. It's up to 17 points. Back to Marciano, who stays in control. 67 is ring movement, so we'll be moving to the near ropes. Marciano's a +1 on his control checks. So Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. Last card of the round is a power shot. Marciano's a 1 against a 13. That's another power shot right at the buzzer, and that'll be 5 points. That'll be 5 points to Lewis. Come on. With that last power shot, that will be the end of round 14. 17 for Marciano, 8 for Lewis. 140, 135. 5 points, fatigued. That's okay. So on a 10-9, on an 8-point differential, or a 9-point, high score wins at 10-9. So Marciano will take the round. We'll get everything reset for round 15 and the last round of the fight, and Marciano will be our aggressor to start it. Lewis is going to continue to box for the 15th and final round. Referee check says all clear. With that, there's the bell, and actually our aggressor is Marciano. I forgot to move the aggressor reminder over. Marciano will start us off with no control. Lewis, no control. Marciano takes control. This was right back to Marciano. Just had to make sure. Marciano will miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis takes control. 22 lands a punch. Lewis will land. 58 will be good for a 3-point combination. Jab, straight, body, uppercut. Back to Lewis. Loses control. Back to Marciano. Takes control. Marciano. 33 will miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis. No control. Marciano. No control. Lewis takes control. Lewis will land a power shot. Marciano will be a 1 against a 6. That should be a 4-pointer. Yep. 4 points to Lewis. Lewis's only chance here, I think, is to take over. This round. Back over to Lewis, who takes control. Foul. Lewis is a B against a 23. That'll get waved off. Back to Lewis, who takes control. Foul. B against 41. I think that'll get waved off. Yep, that'll get waved off. Back to Lewis. Takes control. 39 will be a missed punch. Marciano can try to counter punch, which a power shot will do. Lewis is a 1 against a 14. 5 points to Marciano. Back to Marciano, who loses control. Lewis, no control. Marciano, no control. Lewis takes control. 66 will be ring movement, so Lewis is going to be leading us. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Lewis. No control. Marciano takes control. 77 is ring movement. Marciano will be leading us. Staying at ring center. Back to Marciano. No control. Lewis. No control. Marciano takes control. Back to Marciano. Lands a power shot. Lewis is still a 1 against a 6. That should be another 4 points. Yep. Back to Marciano. Stays in control. 55 is going to clinch. Back to Marciano. No control. Lewis. No control. Marciano takes control. Lands a power shot. Lewis is still a 1 against a 19. That's going to hurt. Okay, 1 to 10. Either way, Marciano's picking up 6 points. So we need to get another KD rating. On a 1 to 10 is 6 points and a knockdown in full killer instinct. 11 to 20 will score 6 points and add KD 2. So our KD number here is a 2. So we get a knockdown and full killer instinct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Over to Marciano we go, who lands another power shot. Lewis is once again a 1 against an 8. That should be another 4 points to Marciano. Yep. 4 more points to Marciano, which brings him up to 19 points. Back into Marciano's Killer Instinct. That'll be a clinch. Next up for Marciano will be a missed punch. Lewis can try to counter punch. 69 won't do it though. Back to Marciano's Killer Instinct, who will be ring movement, will be moving. Staying at ring center. Back to Marciano. Landing a punch, he will land. 53 will be a 3-point combination, so up to 22. Two cards left for Marciano's Killer Instinct. Ring movement will be moving. To ring center. That's the end of the round. 22 points for Marciano. To 7 for Lewis. And 142. That would have been... Marciano was going to end up fatigued. Lewis was fatigued for a while. At a 15-point differential, high score is going to pick it up 10-9. Okay, with that, we went the distance, so now we need to move over my shoulder for final scoring. Okay, going through final scoring. So on card 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 144 for Marciano. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Judge 1 is scoring at 144, 138 for Marciano. Judge 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 144 once again to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Judge 2 is scoring at 144 to 140 for Marciano. So Marciano has advanced to the finals already based on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 143, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all three judges are giving it to Marciano, so it'll be a unanimous decision. Via unanimous decision. Actually, let's call that UD. There we go. All right, that was actually a very even fight, even if Marciano was in control for a fair amount of it. But that will do it for the semifinals in the Greatest Boxer Tournament in Title Bout II. Speaking of tournaments, tomorrow the Fate of the Elder Gods tournament will finish for Christmas in Arkham. Wednesday we'll be playing Spirit Island, and next week we'll be starting a new cookbook and Mystical Munchies, but more on that during the end of a November recap. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.